Welcome to another episode of the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, shout out to everyone for tuning in on Sirius XM and here on YouTube, man. We appreciate you guys being locked in with us for so long, whether you're a day one or this is your first episode. Listen, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Meah Evans, and as always, I'm here with the man who is repping. He repping from head to toe, man, in all areas. We got Ace Harris in the building.
What's up?
Ace, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Meah. You know, I got to shout out the amazing Liberia. I'm in AT Liberia, Atlanta.
Where did you get that jacket from?
So Telfar, you know.
Sick.
So they obviously he's Liberian, and when I went to, this is not a flex, it's just real spill. When I went to Paris for the Olympics last year,
I figured you were going to say
and
that.
They had made track jackets for some of the Liberian athletes, and they gave some of the influencers who are Liberian that did the talent show that I kind of co-hosted. They gave us like some drip.
Sick.
Kind of a vibe. So it's like, this is like, you can't get this anywhere. It's kind of a vibe. But I want to say,
That's
honestly, like, obviously, you know, I'm in bright. I don't wear a lot of bright, loud colors normally. I'm more subdued. But this, I feel like we kind of got a little matching going. We got a little vibe going. We got the pink hat. This hat is fire.
Thank you, bro. Urban Outfitters. I be trying to go out like my comfort zone. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to not be a pink person.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I think just as I grew up, I used to be really girly growing up. And then like as soon as I got older, you could ask my mom. I was always like all black. Neutral colors. But I don't know, man. I think I'm just, there's certain things I'm embracing about my femininity and things like that. And I'm just kind of like, so
embrace that.
It's really good. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in. We were talking offline and we were talking with the team. Also, I want to say before the creativity episode was the New Year's episode. So we haven't been doing that many solo episodes. Yeah. Only because like we've been like having a lot of guests come in, and shout out to all the guests who have been here on the show. But we were trying to figure out like what we should talk about, and genuinely, I'm genuinely in a season where, because along with 116 Life, I also host my own show called M&MI Radio.
Talk about it.
I've been talking with Misa and Chemo who do the show with me, just about really just driving into this authenticity. Because I feel like a lot of times we think of, and we have topics like this, a list of like things we think people want to hear that would be great, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm really trying to hone in on what's genuinely been on my mind, what's genuinely been on my heart to say, or what's something that just certain concepts I've been trying to just exploring and just learning throughout my everyday life. So Ace hit us up this morning and was like, all right, what we talking about? We got to figure this out right now. And while I wanted to go to our list, I was just like, well, let me see what would come out from just genuinely what's been on my mind. And you were with it. And that topic was just discipline. Just because I feel like that's just something that we all need, all of us, whether we realize it or not. And my concept of discipline is evolving. And I was just curious to just get like what your take on discipline in a creative sense and a faith sense. I just feel like there's just a lot of different avenues I wanted to just touch on and just pick your brain about. Do you remember or have any early memories, practices of discipline growing up or anything like that?
Oh, thank you. I mean, when you say discipline, you're talking about like because I think it has two connotations. So for our audience, how can we help clarify?
So discipline in the sense of
faithfulness, regimen,
faithfulness, and maybe even self-control, devotion. You touched on things of that nature. So
not
from
the
that
idea of being disciplined, like spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right, not that. Not since I'm happy you cleared that up.
Because I think sometimes people jump to that connotation and use that word, but I like the idea of regimen, faithfulness. So thanks. We were kind of in sync because I was saying like I kind of been hovering and thinking about that word a lot the past literally 3 weeks. I had a conversation with Dre and 1K Few like an hour ago we had a whole conversation and Dre was sharing some things that he's going through on discipline-wise. So I think the Lord definitely steered us here to have this conversation as it was relevant for my life and you were already fresh, like kind of thinking about it. So great, just being sensitive to the Spirit. So my early thoughts for me, I think sports has done a lot for me to develop my relationship with discipline. I kind of think back to like when I was a kid playing basketball. This is like middle school, and I got to high school. I think middle school for sure. I remember wanting to get good at basketball and just literally just dribbling every single day, working on my handles and stuff. And I remember I did that for like a year, and I came back and I was 10, I was actually like decent at dribbling the ball. And then I also fast forward to like my high school basketball coach, Coach John Hawley. If you're watching this, you actually changed my life because he was a basketball coach who was actually a triathlete. Are you familiar with triathlete are? So are you familiar with the Ironman competition?
No.
So the Ironman competition is an athletic creme de la creme of super athletes that do a marathon, swim for 3 miles, and bike for 100 miles. So my basketball coach was an Ironman competitor and did that like every year in the summer. He would compete. So that's my basketball coach.
Sheesh.
So our workouts were crazy. Yeah. So having him be that kind of person, I wouldn't say that on the basketball side, I had some things about his coaching style that I probably to this day kind of give me a little bit of trauma. But from a discipline, he was a hard worker and he instilled that in me. Like, so I think just getting after it, being consistent, trying to be good at basketball, running, conditioning, all those things helped me to have a healthy relationship with discipline that I probably not sure I would have gotten had I not played basketball. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that one of us had a healthy relationship with it.
What was your, what was yours?
I think for me, in the moment I didn't realize it was unhealthy. I just thought it was just kind of like being a kid and not being like obedient to what I needed to do. But now I'm realizing that I didn't cultivate healthy habits of discipline. Simple enough, homework. Easily.
Yeah.
I was very much so someone who, Ace, don't ask me what book we read in school. I never read them. I'm just being honest with you. I never read them. Homework, I was doing it at lunch. Doing? Ace, nothing on that tablet, on that phone, watching TV.
You just showed your age.
And I just always had the concept of, I'll do it in the morning before school. Okay, well, then I didn't do that. Okay, well, then I'll do it in the class before. And I didn't think anything of it until I realized in my adult years that, man, why do certain things are so hard for me to like focus on this, like, dang, cultivating those habits. You know what I'm saying? Like, while, don't get me wrong, I've lived another day where I haven't used A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I've little things like that in school I don't use today. But I'm realizing now and regretting the fact that I didn't take school seriously, not for the fact of just like learning certain things that I would use in my adult life, but the habits I was cultivating. And I realized that, dang, that's discipline. Yeah. Doing a homework assignment that your teacher will probably just give everybody a 100 on. You know what I'm saying? That may get taken up or may not. You know what I'm saying? Still doing it regardless. So I'm realizing now that those habits of discipline, I didn't take seriously. And really now, like even for young elementary, middle, high school, college, those turning in assignments, going to class on time, those things prepare you for the real world. Those are disciplines that prepare you for every day of your life. So I'm realizing that then that's a discipline habits that would have helped my discipline.
A discipline deficiency.
Yes. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question. Okay, so how were your parents responding to your relationship with those homework assignments?
Dang. You know what? My dad said something to me, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was one of them kids who got nervous when progress reports came, knowing that I wasn't doing work. You know what I'm saying? It was so bad. And so I already had the excuse, and some people can relate, where it's like you get the progress report and you're like, but they didn't put this grade in yet, so that really don't count. That's really not what the grade is right now. I was one of them. I won't say my entire school year, but like high school, because I went to performing arts high school, and they were kind of really demanding. They didn't play when it came to grades and things like that. So I think a lot of the pressures kind of got to me. I was focused more on the creativity than the academics when it came to that whole aspect. And I gave my progress report. And my dad's really not someone who, he usually lets my mom do the disciplinary, like chastising and stuff. But this is another report that wasn't looking good.
I'm curious. So with in your opinion, lapse in discipline, that means you must have had a finesse that was developed too. Because some people who are not necessarily super disciplined, they know how to, their finesse game is like really good. Because it's like a overcompensation for their lack of discipline. So I can kind of like finesse through to get through. You know what I'm saying? Would you say, is that you?
I think, I was the person who, at the end of the semester, the end of the quarter, I was locked in. When you're really supposed to be locked in the entire year. You know what I'm saying? So now, last 2 months of school, now I'm going to tutoring. Now I'm asking for extra credit. And some teachers were like, no, that's not fair to the students who are putting in work all year. And I would have those other teachers. So, but my dad said something to me that stood out to me when I got my progress report one day. He was driving and my mom was in the front seat and like he was they were both kind of going back and forth with me. But he was like, it's kind of like you're just coasting. Like, you see how I'm driving right now? And everybody's passing me. And if I just picked up the pace, like, I'll be able to keep up with everybody else. Like, you're letting everybody pass you. And I think about that often to this day. It's kind of like, man, if I just sucked it up, really, and just did the hard thing, did the thing that I did not want to do. I wouldn't be getting passed by everybody. You know what I'm saying? So he said that to me, and that left a lasting impression on me, even to this day, when it comes to me doing certain things and not being disciplined and not being mediocre in certain things, So I try to push past those concepts. Did you grow into, how has it been? Do you cultivate discipline even into your sons?
Yes.
I knew you were going to say yes.
I could be a bit of a drill sergeant.
Really?
I sometimes, as a father, especially on summer times, when there's too many days of breaks, of like just hanging out, y'all just watching TV, you ain't doing that. I try to think about, okay, how am I setting up a culture of discipline in my house? How are they being formed? And this is also on the spiritual side too. So when we're not, so sometimes people put so much emphasis on what to do. What we're not doing is forming us too. So having a laxed, not rest. We talked about rest before on the show. I'm talking about having like a lazy posture.
There's a difference, yes.
Yeah, and I feel like what you're not doing is spiritually forming you too. Like what you're not thinking through, what you're not putting your hand and heart to, you're conditioning your body and your brain and your spirit to form you as a person. So sitting back and just doing idle things and not doing anything is a part of spiritual and emotional and like formation for a young person. So I'm just mindful. I'm not saying I don't want my kids chilling, but if you chilling too much, I am that dad. It's like, yo, y'all gotta do some push-ups. Y'all gotta.
Dang, Ace push-ups.
I mean, because if you're on a Saturday, if we get them on, tablets or TV like by 2:00, 3:00, even on the worst day, 12, and it's 7, 8, you've been sitting down doing nothing for 8 hours. That cannot be good for your formation as a young person, for anybody, as an adult.
That's real.
Sitting down just lazily doing nothing is not good for your wiring, right? You need to get out and walk, go do something, movement. Like your dad said, you're just getting past. So I think that I try to employ, and I think this is actually biblical too. Like I just believe in motion, not rushing, not hurrying. You have to be moving.
Yeah.
I think there's times to be still, but to me, stillness doesn't equate to laziness though. Stillness is about receiving and hearing from God. But I would say, for me, stillness is actually like walking with God is a form of stillness. It's like you're walking with the Lord. You're being still to what He's telling you to. So when I see my kids just chilling too much, I'm like, nah, we gotta shake this up. we have to like. Did you want to play basketball, son? Did you do your 20 shots today? Other son, you doing tumbling? Did you go on the trampoline and flip today? Hey, did you do some reading and some writing? Do something, movement, right? Something. So, and this is also for me too. If I'm sitting around, again, this is not to not say that rest isn't important. I'm just saying, being idle is not a good thing for any. I think people say it for young people. I'm like, I feel like for grown folks
for us too.
Just if discipline is good, being idle cannot be good.
Yeah.
Just sitting down, just moping around. You ain't got no motion.
Productivity. Nothing.
Even if it ain't gotta always be a task. It's like just go write go journal, go do something. But just sitting and just scrolling and watch TV, I don't know. I don't see that's good. So anyway, that's my long rant on how I employ discipline in my kids.
No, that's good, Ace. When we come back, I want to talk about what discipline looks like practically for us right now, what's maybe evolved us into being, and maybe even from a spiritual aspect, because even spiritual disciplines are important that there are a lot of times that we don't want to do.
For sure.
So listen, don't go anywhere. It's the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Meah Evans. We'll be right back. And we're back on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Meah Evans checking in, talking about discipline, man. Okay, so from a everyday aspect, what are some like everyday disciplines, Ace, that you work in your routine? May not be the things like you necessarily like want to do, but you're kind of like, no, I gotta move this muscle. I gotta make sure I get this done. Like even if I don't feel like it, you've pressed yourself.
Sure. So I could talk about the what. Let me talk about the why first. I think that'd be helpful. I know that on days when I look back, when I'm pondering, when I'm thinking, I try to ponder a lot. And shout out to my men's group that I'm a part. Like, what kind of man do I want to be? What kind of father do I want to show up as? What kind of A&R do I want to show up as? I think about the end result of who I want to be, who I aspire to be. Like, who's the version of Ace that I feel like is God honoring, people loving, and impactful to my domain. And so when I think about that why kind of drives me to think about, okay, what did I do? So for example, this week, you know what I'm saying, shout out to my wife and kids. They were in Augusta, Georgia, school's out. And she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for Augusta with her mother for a couple of days. And I had a lot to do anyway. So I'm like, yo, this actually works out great because I got to turn in, you know, Jackie's album, Lecrae's album, summer playlist. And so sometimes my discipline can lapse when they're out the house because I'm like, oh, I can kind of chill. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to get up, take them to the school. So it's like normally school, gym. So I have these routines, right? Prayers, take them to school, gym, home. And because I didn't have those routines, I felt in my spirit like, yo, I'm gonna take a couple of days off. And then I thought about it and I was like, yo, I need to probably think about the kind of man that I want to be on these days, right? So what kind of man do I want to show up? I got these long days, a long session. And if I know there's grace, right? There's not like, I don't think God's looking at us like, man, you didn't pray today, so I love you less. No, I don't believe that. His love is abounding, always present. It doesn't love me any less.
Yeah.
But I think about how I want to show up and steward what he's given me. And if I don't pray today, if I don't get in his word today, what I'm basically saying is I don't need to draw from this well today. You know what I'm saying? So I told myself this week, you know what? There was a couple of days where I was gonna skip prayer, I was gonna skip the gym.
Yeah.
And I fought against it. I prayed against it. I was like, you know what? I did get to my phone first before I got to my word. And I was like, so I had to throw the phone away. Let me go to the scripture. Let me just sit in God's presence. Let me read. Let me learn. Let me kind of soak into what I feel like will be helpful for my soul. So as I go into the day, I'm kind of filled up in his presence right before I start doing a bunch of tasks. I did that. Let me go to the gym. Let me throw a podcast on while I'm at the gym. Let me keep my spirit in tune because I want to get to all these tasks. And if I don't do these disciplines, does it make me a worse person? No. But what type of man do I want to show up and be at the end of the day? Literally at the end of this day, what kind of man do I want to show up and be? And I felt like I had to just plug in and just do it. And so it was hard. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like praying and reading my word. But I'm glad that I did, Meah, because it set me up to just think about the kind of man I want to show up for, not just for myself, even for the people around me. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how, it's kind of my...
Man, our lives are so in sync, Ace. Because I'm a part of this mentoring community, and our coach had us write down what our superior selves look like, and just like, okay, well, the best version of yourself, what does she do? Is she up every day? What is she eating? Like you know what I'm saying? So I wrote down all these things, and it wasn't a long list. I feel like sometimes it's good to not put so much pressure, but I did make a list, and I have that up in my wall, a wall in my room, and I refer to that often. And it's even interesting you saying your why, because don't get me wrong, I feel like those are like cliches that we hear all the time, like remember your why. But like for real,
I really like Christian conference stuff, right?
Literally. But I also think that with your disciplines, sometimes your why helps. Because when you don't want to, okay, well, why should you? Like I was thinking to my, on my paper, I have 4 pieces of paper in my room, trying to remember them. Like one of them is like, why do I want to spend time with God every day? And it's like, well, because I want to dwell in his presence and be the place where I can be comfortable.
That's good.
Like, why should I be a better steward of my money? Because I never want money to be an obstacle in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's looking at those things, you kind of view discipline. I don't say you still won't want to do it, but you have push and motivation to why you want to. So you saying that resonate with me because that's literally where I'm at. even as we speak. And I saw a quote a long time ago. This was when like I was trying to like push myself to do like schoolwork and things like that. Even like early stages of like when I was in broadcasting, like wanting to do, be disciplined and not just scroll aimlessly on social media, things like that. Sure. And I saw something that said, discipline determines what you want now versus what you want most. Because I feel like in longevity, like with discipline's never a one act.
Oh, for sure.
You know, a one act activity. It's something that you do constantly. And because if you're not consistent, then your discipline's in vain. How have you learned to cultivate consistency?
That's a great question. And shout out to you. The fact that we're on a line of picking like the idea of, okay, who's the Meah that I want to be this week, and thinking about working backwards. Like, all right, if I want to be this Meah, I'm gonna. So for me, consistency is part of it, and something that this may be helpful for some people who associate the word discipline from a lens that feels harsh and from a lens that feels weighty. I understand that word can feel strong.
Yeah.
Some of my achievers who are more like type A type people, they like to live in that. They're like, yo, discipline, get it, like this hustler mentality.
Yeah, right.
On the flip side, I had someone share this with me that helped for people who struggle with that type of energy, and this will probably help with consistency. Is like, what if we reframe discipline as devotion? So it's not, I'm not disciplining, not that I have to do, and I'm this mean, supervisor for myself that's cracking the whip that makes me have to do these things. But what if I look at it like, wow, I get to devote my time to these things. I'm devoted to it because this devotion to these things that God's calling me to has a wellspring of benefits for the people around me, for the kind of person I want to show up and be. So I would just encourage people, consistency. Like if it's all about motivation and inspiration that's driving your discipline, you may run out of gas. Cause we be tired.
We're human.
We be tired. It's gonna happen. You know, it's almost like on church on some Sundays, like you hear that message and you be locked in. Have you been in the season? You're like,
man, I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run into this week all guns blazing.
You got your sermon notes, boy. You
on top of the world.
You like, oh, hallelujah, glory. That's good. That's good.
Right.
And everybody's like tapped in. Like if you can feel the spirit moving, I'm not here to make light of that, because there is a moment where I think you got to get pep. What's the word? Like sometimes you need a pep rally. You need a good pep rally.
Yeah,
pep rallies are good. In fact, we need to be inspired. But come Wednesday, come Thursday, when you done ran out of gas and you ain't got that energy from the hype of that sermon, it's hard. It's hard. So I think that's what I try to think about when showing up for the kind of person I want to be. Is like, I need that pep rally to kind of get me going, but that pep rally energy is not going to sustain me come Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to be out of gas.
Yeah.
That spiritual pep rally ain't enough. So what kicks in there? Now we into a spiritual. Now we in like a, what people would call the mundane of life. I'm talking about the getting up early, planting seeds on the ground when you don't even know when it's about to rain. That's the type of focus and devotion that I think I want to inspire us to kind of to pull from.
Yeah.
When it's like it's dry outside, you don't really see the benefits. You're tired. You're physically drained.
Yeah.
But the concept of depositing this seed in the ground is still a good concept.
Yeah.
It's not limited or bound by how you feel, by when it's gonna rain, or by the inspiration of that morning. You put this seed in the ground because you're expecting a harvest. And I think that's the devotion that I want us to drive into, not just being inspired. And hopefully that'll give us the consistency to kind of press through, because getting sometimes people who are super charismatic, they love those mountaintop experiences. That's good. But I ain't gonna lie, that valley type of discipline and devotion is really where the cheat code is at.
It's real. And that's sometimes what's gonna make you and really keep you. And Ace, when I tell you we're so locked in when it comes to this concept, because that's personally, devotion is something that's God's just personally been driving into me. Because sometimes for me, when it comes to consistency, if I'm not gonna do it like perfect and say I miss a day, or like, okay, I ate more than the calories I wanted to the day. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. I fall off. Because it's kind of like, well, I gave it my best shot. But God's been really driven into me it's not about perfection, it's about devotion.
Oh.
And I've realized it's like
talk about it.
In so many areas.
That's good.
I found that concept in so many areas. Not even, at first it was just spiritual, just like when it comes to like it's time with God, I'm like, okay, I gotta do 30 minutes here, 30 minutes of prayer. Then I gotta sit for stillness for an hour. No, like it's just me just being devoted and just spending time with God. And then also,
that's it right there. You snapping.
When it comes to the gym.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a morning. I hate working out at night.
Me too.
So I'm a morning person, but for me, I gotta get up early. So it's like, okay, if I get up, okay, my snooze, my alarm one too many times. So now I only get 10 minutes in the gym. Let me still go, just to show that I'm devoted. Like I think that's so good. That consistency helps when you're devoted.
Yes.
When you just make the decision of I'm not gonna be perfect, but I'm just gonna show that I'm here. I'm gonna put whatever I can into what you know what I'm saying. So that's really.
When's the last time? How do you feel when you show up, even when it's not like you're 100%, but you're devoted sometimes, some type of action to the thing you want to do? How does it feel post you doing that thing? Like, I didn't want to, I devoted something and I'm coming out of it. Like, how do you feel personally?
Can I be real?
Yeah.
Sometimes I be thinking that it's not enough.
I feel you.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I just be like, I only pray 10 minutes. Like, I only walked on the treadmill. When I be in there, power cleans. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm usually like spending time with God, an hour. And I'll be like, is that enough? You know what I'm saying?
Whose voice is that?
Mine. But that's what I'm at. I'm always at battle with. That's why the perfection, devotion concept really drives home for me. That's a constant reminder, just because if I constantly live up to my own standard, I'm never going to measure up. But I'm always trying to remember the standard in which God has for me, and accept that. As much as it may not make sense to me, I'm just trying to think of, okay, let me be devoted. And if that's enough to him, I'm just going to leave it,
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's like, if we're operating or living from a place of trying to prove, trying to earn
performance.
Yes. It'll always beat us down. But if we're doing these things or living this life from a place of, we're already good, we're already locked in, validated, approved, seen, then we're doing it at a response to the goodness that's already laid before us. So I'm not going to read my word to prove to God some type of relationship that I think is going to validate me. It's like God has already validated me, so I'm seeking him as a devotion to what he's already said who I am. So it's like, I'm going to the gym. Yes, I want to have goals and stuff. That's great. But I'm more so going to the gym as a stewardship of the body God has given me. And from that, it's edifying, it's glorifying. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think so I saw something on Instagram the other day, which is a really good angle on like the Trinity, and this is helpful with discipline. Like, in our theology, the Trinity is it's God, it's Spirit, it's Son. There's a three person nature and relationship. It's let us create man in his own image in Genesis, which I love that us in there, which is such a beautiful preview of the Trinity being part of the God's plan and design from the original inception of his creation. Beautiful, right? Yeah. It's working in concert. It's community. It's fellowship. It's relationship. And then I heard someone say, "Well, don't stop there. What if even in our own likeness and image, we have a form of kind of like a Trinity within us, which is like it's our bodies, it's our spirit, and it's our souls." So a lot of times in our teaching, we're only conditioning we're only operating in one of those spheres. So we're in the gym, but our spirit ain't really in the word. Or we're in the word, but we're eating like a junk food every day.
Bro.
Or we're super intellectual, but we don't want to engage the soul. So we won't read no poetry, or we won't listen to anything heartfelt or sit into those emotional things that are hard. So I feel like a healthy, balanced discipline for me, not for anybody else, is like when I'm not just going to the gym to meet some like vanity goals. Yeah, that's whatever. It's like, nah, this is the body God gave me. I want to steward this thing. This is a form of worship back to him. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, nah, I'm not just in the word just because I want to learn. It's like, nah, I'm in the word because I want to reflect his spirit. I want to see through his eyes. So, and then it's like my soul. It's like, nah, I may want to put on this music. I may not want to jam these records that are probably not good for my soul, because it's not caring for my soul. But when I put on this worship music or this Christian hip hop, it's edifying my soul. So I think holistically, devotion and discipline considers every form of that Trinity. And I think it's just a way to like devote our time to God in a way that's wholesome and holistic. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that helps to get, it's been good to hear that and be like, oh, got it. Spirit, soul, body, all three of those things. So
that's good, bro. When we come back, I want to even touch on maybe if there's any things that God, you probably didn't set limits on, but maybe God's probably set limits on for you. And maybe what that was like.
Yeah.
And from some spiritual aspects and even also what maybe in a creative sense where we can take discipline. So don't go anywhere. It's the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Meah Evans. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Meah Evans, Ace Harris checking in, talking about discipline. Okay, so here's the thing I really want to know. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a time when you need to be disciplined with something and you weren't gung-ho about it? And you were like, yeah, this may take some time. I really got to build up the strength to really want to be disciplined in doing this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like there was a time in my like production career when I was coming up and I was in LA a lot working with my boy Sock Passe and producing. And I kind of, at that point of my production career, I felt like my chops and craft as a producer were kind of stalled out. I had kind of like, in my brain, I thought I was good enough. You know what I'm saying? And I would go to LA and then I would kind of get humbled. Like, yo, these people are actually way better with their drums, their sound, their execution, their sound design, little things that makes you better as a producer. And I remember kind of stubbornly not trying to like get better, but I was also kind of disappointed in where I was. Like, man, these people, I almost thought it was like unachievable for me to make certain things. Like you'd hear people in your field doing something, you're like, yo, I thought I was good, but dang, they really good.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be such a leap to get there. And then I just kind of had to like, just suck it up. You said like, kind of like, nah, honestly, these people didn't get here by just sitting around moping about why they're not good. Like they did something. So I remember I intentionally sought out, how can I be better as a producer? And I realized there were some gaps in my creativity, which helped me many years later in my role here at Reach. I remember like I could make beats. I had a little bit of musicianship skills. This is before like loops and stuff and AI, because all that probably don't change the game.
Dang.
But I remember feeling like, I kind of make, a producer told me like, yo, your beats, you always play these like same chords. Like you had your bag of like music is like really limited. So I didn't really do any formal training. I sat down for about a year and a half. Almost every single day. And I literally practiced my scales. And again, I can play a little bit, but I wasn't like a player. And I just practiced each scale from A scale, B scale. And I remember practicing both hands, trying to get better as a producer. And then I looked up in a year and I remember the same producer was like, yo, you actually like moving around a little bit. I was like, yeah, I've been practicing, boy, I've been practicing.
Good,
and it made my production chops better. And at that time, at my dad's church that I was a member of, there was times when the keyboardist would get sick, and in those moments, there was nobody to kind of play the keyboard. There was our bass player would kind of step in, there was times on someone like midweek services, Meah, I was like the fill-in keyboard player at the church, which added. I mean, I wouldn't hire myself, but for a Wednesday service, for like a prayer service, you might need somebody that can at least hold it down,
right?
And I was able to hold down those services. Wow. Because I had taken the time to practice my craft. And I feel like I'm so grateful. At first I was humbled and I responded with like action and intentionality and discipline to get better, because it provided it helped to add value to those services. It helped to add value to this record Kids by What Up RG, where I didn't make the beat, but I added that chord progression at the end. And I had not, and I think about how that chord progression helped to impact the content of the song. And it was like, wow, God used that season of discipline to like help me be a better musician that in some way helps to make better songs, which some way helps to impact people and have greater influence in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my like 1-2 story. Yeah.
Sheesh, Ace.
Yeah. What about you? Was there a time when you felt like I need to get better, but I need to get disciplined at this thing in my field, like of journalism, questioning? What's a time or a moment you can think of that helped you see the need for discipline in your craft?
For me, I still kind of feel this way because with me doing, when I first did Eminem Live Radio with my sister Misa, she was really great in hosting because that was a lot of our upbringing when we were in youth ministry. She would host our youth conferences, things like that, and I was just kind of like the background. So when we had to go host together, I did not like it, and I was not good at it. You can ask like early years, like we would both be on stage and she would do all the talking. I would just look at her, and my brother-in-law would be like, all right, Misa, you need to talk less. Meah, you need to talk more. And so I would always want to turn down like hosting events and things like that, or red carpet things, because I was just like, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to, but I wanted to get better at it. So forcing myself to sometimes stand in the mirror, but honestly forcing myself to do events like the local church's kids back to school event, just so I could get better at discipline. You know, even though I didn't want, Ace, I did not want to. Even to this day, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to host. Can we just do an interview? Like, I'm just better at that. But I really would try to charge myself. And recently, hopefully you'll be proud of me when I say this, when it comes to a creative aspect, I have a background in creative writing, and I've wanted to be better when it comes to that, and I just have not. I've always been hesitant on doing it. And I've made investments in myself where I can start exercising that muscle more, because I just genuinely like it. And I was always just like, it's cringy because I haven't did it in a long time, and what if whatever I write sucks or whatnot. But I do want to be a better writer because I haven't written in so long. So when it's buying books that I've been out seeing on creative writing, subscribing to masterclass and doing little things like that. And I think sometimes I realize that even discipline can be an investment. Sometimes investing in yourself to do the thing that you don't want to do. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's good.
Love free 99. That's great.
That's really good.
But also investing in what sometimes when you put value behind something, you value it more. And I've been doing that when it comes to creative writing in an aspect. For me personally, trying to be more disciplined in doing that.
You said basically what you said is discipline might cost you some money. You got to picture what you spend may reveal. Because
like, let's be real. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, YouTube University all day. Like, we can get things for the free, but sometimes you value things just a little bit more when you put money behind it.
That's true.
So I was kind of like, I didn't want to, but I was like, what do I want to be? I want to be a better writer. I want to try to sharpen this tool a little bit more. So, all right, let me do the monthly subscription. Let me go ahead and, let me buy this book. Let me, sometimes I think if you want to be disciplined, sometimes there's an investment behind it. But I think there's a benefit behind it at the end of the day. I'm personally learning that at least.
Because we're going to spend that money on some other stuff anyway.
Man.
We're going, when it's something that ain't really giving you anything back, there's no like, pushback on why you shouldn't spend that. Yeah, go treat yourself. But when it's something that you want to invest in, it's like, that costs you. You kind of talk yourself out of it. Isn't that crazy?
Exactly.
So I think that's dope that you said that. Like, some things, it's going to cost you something, even financially. So that's super dope. Yeah.
In today's world for creatives, even when it comes to like the CHH space, do you feel like we need more discipline, more structure?
Yes.
What makes you say that?
I mean, I think today's artists have a harder job in terms of being pulled on so much too. You got your content strategy, you have your recording, you have your posting, you have your engaging with fans. So you have all these things that it's a lot, right? So I feel like it benefits the artist who has discipline to take advantage of those things. I could just brag on a few people that I see doing it really well. Shout out Anike. Like, she has like a scheduled approach to her like recording. Whenever she has feature requests or anything, she has like okay, I can't get to it this day, but these are my recording days. I'm gonna get to it. And she has these like discipline hacks. Yeah, organized. And so she has and as an artist, I think it's really helpful and healthy. I would say Lecrae is another one that I see up close. Is like, his calendar, he has these things. So he's like, I'm building in discipline for my artistry that it's already in my calendar that's gonna help me get the things done that need to get done. So it's not just you don't just turn in an album by not. You have to, if you want to turn it on time, you gotta have discipline. And if you have people working with you, I would say Jack Hill Perry's another one. Like, there's like days where it's like, no, I'm going to have these days scheduled to write so I can come in and knock these things out. And so discipline benefits artists. I mean, at the same time, you know, creativity sometimes flows without structure too. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a fair thing we have to give space for. But I do feel like if you approach your creativity from a place of discipline, I feel like it actually unlocks more creativity if there's like intentionality behind your creativity. So it's like, hey, just block off time on your calendar. Now, but here's where I say you balance it out. Well, you don't have to put a deadline on, you know, I have to get this done. It's like, hey, just do something, right? Yeah. Devotion over perfection, what you said earlier. So I think even when it comes to content, it's like, you know, you have these release dates, touch points coming. It's coming, right? If it's on the calendar, get ahead of it, right? Just to carve out days and then what you could do, sometimes a cool hack I see some artists do is like, they may have content days like, nah, this is like a bit of a burden at times. So I'm gonna just take one day, I'm gonna knock out a bunch of stuff and just get it all done. And then I'm gonna sit back. So I think in the CHA space, having those touch points are helpful for artists to get ahead of some of the, it's a content beast, right? So being disciplined will help you like maximize it the best, you know?
And I saw you were with, shout out to The Fix, you were talking to Focus about, even from an A&R standpoint, of just how necessary discipline can be for an artist. Can you dive into that? Like, I'm just curious, just from an A&R standpoint.
Yeah, it's something I've said before. Meah, like, I don't know how people are doing it outside of. I have an idea. So in the Christian industry, the artists that we work with, or even in adjacent, that CCM gospel, a lot of artists are family people. 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, generally, even most of the artists here have like spouses and or children.
Yeah.
When I look into like the mainstream hip hop culture for some of my friends that are A&Rs, producers, or artists, I'd be like, yo, they be doing these camps, they be locking away for 3 weeks. I'm like, yo, yeah. So they're not carving in that family time the way we seemingly do, where we're weighing that family time in a way that's like, nah, we can't lock away for 3 weeks and just we got kid drop off, we got responsibilities at home. So you have to have discipline to get that art out, or you're gonna drown. You know what I'm saying? You have to be done at 6 to get home for dinner. You have to be up. Like 1K Few he takes his kids to school, comes straight to the studio. And he's like, it's a rhythm that he's talked about that he's had to have, because he was like, you know, in terms of being at home, the temperature of my home is better if I'm home at these hours. So me being up here at Reach till like 7, 8 o'clock ain't good for my home situation.
Yeah.
So I got to get my butt up, take my kids to school, be here by 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, out by like 1 to go pick my kids. So like I already put in 5, 6 hours in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just it benefits the artist to be disciplined. And I've seen it on the flip side. I've seen the lack of discipline stall certain motion and momentum for artists too. You know what I'm saying? Just being a little lax with it, thinking that it's just gonna happen, having like I'll get around to it mentality.
That's where the structure comes in.
Yeah,
where it helps.
Yeah.
And you said something that stood out to me. I think that discipline, after just hearing us talk, I think discipline kind of makes you a better person just in general, or I'll just say maybe sharper is the better word.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just affect you. It affects a lot of people. Because when I did my superior self, I'm realizing, like, me saying I want to spend more time with my family, I'm now a better daughter or a more present auntie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thinking, like, me going to bed. Oh my gosh, I'm realizing this in real time. Me going to bed earlier, because I've been knocking that. I'm not gonna lie, I've been bad about going to bed on time. But me going to bed earlier, I'm more energized to be present with my nieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, me doing better with watching interviews makes me a better interviewer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so therefore, our guests feel like we didn't just throw together an interview. We put time into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me being cautious with how I forgive people helps me love people better. Like, it's not just about, discipline doesn't just benefit me. It leaks out. Like, it benefits those around me. Just hearing you say that, I'm realizing that.
That's so good. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about that when it comes to you talking about even artists. When you being locked in, I would like to think, I don't know much, but I would like to think that would affect the music you make, the art that you make. So therefore your community or whatever you have around you feels seen and like cared for. You know what I'm saying? So you're not just throwing out, not knocking nobody, but like singles left and right that don't have nothing, that are just weak. You know what I'm saying? Or you lock in and you put time towards a certain project or content. You know what I'm saying?
That's so countercultural. Like generally in the world, when we talk about discipline, we're talking about like the self-help angle of like getting better, being motivational, which is some of that is good and redemptive if you steward it well. But I don't think the world talks about how being self-disciplined is considerate of others too.
Yeah.
It's about care for other people connected to you. Me being I'm gonna make sure I'm not talking to everybody else. This is for myself. Me being self-disciplined, I need to think about how that benefits the people around me. How me being disciplined is an act of care for my community, for my artists, for my family, for my kids, my church. If I discipline myself, it's a stewardship that hopefully leaks out and benefits the community around me, my domain. So I think that's an angle that I need to sit with. Thank you for calling that out. I want to invite everybody to think about how the self-discipline isn't just for self, it's for others too.
That's real, man. Listen, we locked in again. We done did it again, man. Shout out to everyone that's tuned into this week's episode. Shout out to Matt for holding down the operation as always. And shout out to everyone, a part of the 116 Life community, for tuning into another good episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.